Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers and doers, world changers in the making, let me begin with a truth so ancient it echoes before time itself. Words create worlds. Before there was sight, there was sound. Before reality could be touched, it was spoken into being. In the beginning, it was not action that formed existence, it was declaration. And so I tell you today, you are not an accident. You are not the sum of mistakes, the product of chance, or the leftovers of fate. You are the evidence of intention. But intention without speech is powerless. Purpose without declaration remains dormant. You cannot step into what you are too afraid to speak. You cannot embody what you refuse to announce. Listen carefully. You do not speak because you are it. You speak until you become it. Greatness is not birthed in applause or spotlight. It is conceived in silence, whispered in faith, carried in hidden places, and spoken long before it can be seen. David said, "I will defeat you," while Goliath still towered above him. Joseph dreamed of ruling while chains bound his hands. And Jesus declared, "I am the resurrection and the life," before he ever stepped out of the grave. Your words must go ahead of your feet. Your voice must announce where your life has not yet arrived. But here lies the danger. Too many of us rehearse our current reality instead of declaring our future destiny. We say, "I'm broke, I'm stuck, I'm tired, I'm lost." But tell me, who gave you the authority to curse what heaven has blessed? Stop allowing your present condition to silence your eternal calling. Stop giving your circumstances the final word. Speak not from the weight of your difficulty, but from the certainty of your destiny. Because every time you open your mouth, you are planting. Every word is a seed, and the soil of your life does not discriminate. It will grow whatever you sow. Fear, and you will reap fear. Speak faith, and you will reap victory. Speak poverty, and you will see lack. Fate prosperity, and you will see increase. So the question is not whether your words have power. The question is, what are you planting? When you speak once and nothing changes, speak again. When the situation worsens, speak louder. When doubt knocks at the door, answer with truth. Repetition does not weaken the word, it fortifies your spirit. You don't speak because it's easy. You speak because it's necessary. Many claim they believe in greatness, but their vocabulary betrays them. They whisper, "One day I'll be successful." But their mouths echo more failure than faith. Friend, your tongue is the steering wheel of your destiny. If you don't like where your life is heading, check what your mouth is saying. Every time you declare, "I'm not good enough," you sign an agreement with defeat. Every time you mutter, "People like me never make it," you build a prison with your own words. But hear this, the King has given you authority. Royalty must speak like royalty. You don't see it yet, speak it. You don't feel it yet, speak it. You don't believe it yet, speak it until faith takes root. Faith is not a fleeting feeling. It is not goosebumps on your skin. Faith is a force, and it is released through your tongue. Speak like the future is already unfolding. Talk as if your promise is standing in front of you, waiting for your arrival. Don't wait for external confirmation. Your words are your confirmation. You were not created to merely survive. You were designed to dominate. You were born to lead, to shift atmospheres, to transform environments. But here is the unshakable truth. You cannot lead with a language of limitation. You cannot rise with a vocabulary rooted in fear. You must speak like who you were born to be. Call yourself what heaven calls you until your reflection aligns with your confession. Because the voice you believe most deeply is not mine, not your parents, not your teachers, not even your critics. It is your own. Yes, others may encourage you. Yes, leaders may inspire you. But until you declare it, until you say it, until you release it, your soul will not move. If nobody calls you chosen, call yourself chosen. If nobody sees your potential, declare your potential. If nobody affirms your worth, speak your worth. Say it until you believe it. Believe it until you live it. Live it until you become it. Your mouth is not a mirror, it is a mold. Don't just describe who you are, shape who you will be. So let this be your commitment from this moment forward. I will speak until I become. I will declare destiny. I will confess greatness. I will call forth the leader within me. I will speak until my voice carries the weight of my value. Because when the world hears you, they should not merely hear words. They should hear purpose in motion. The power of the spoken word is one of the most underestimated forces in the universe. Yet it is the foundation upon which everything visible was built. Before mountains rose, before oceans roared, before galaxies spun, there were words. Creation itself was triggered by speech, and that truth has never changed. Words were never designed merely to communicate. They were designed to initiate, to activate, to create. Every time you speak, you are setting something in motion. You are constructing realities unseen by the natural eye. You are either building your future or sabotaging it. Every word you release is a seed, and no seed dies. It does not vanish into the air. It enters your atmosphere, lodges itself into your circumstances, and waits for the right season to produce fruit. Your words are carriers. They carry intent. They carry belief. They carry energy. When you speak, you are not just expressing what you feel. You are releasing creative force into your environment. And make no mistake, the universe does not respond to silence. It responds to speech. That is why silence in the face of fear, silence in the face of doubt, silence in the face of crisis is dangerous. Because whatever is not resisted with words is silently accepted by default. Every time you open your mouth, you authorize something. Whether it is fear or faith, bondage or breakthrough, limitation or liberation. Your words are not casual, they are decrees. And decrees shape destiny. Think of kings. When a king speaks, his words are law. They are not suggestions, they are not mere expressions, they carry authority. And you were created in the image of a king, so your language must reflect authority. Stop using your mouth to describe your pain. Start using it to declare your purpose. Too many people reinforce their limitations by rehearsing them aloud. They say, I'm tired, I'll never succeed, things never work out for me. And then they wonder why their life mirrors that exact confession. Friend, you don't get what you casually wish for. You get what you consistently speak with conviction, because the atmosphere around you is voice activated. Your home, your business, your relationships, your health, your finances, they are all waiting for instructions. And if you remain silent, or worse, if your speech is filled with fear and doubt, you are handing the keys of your future over to circumstances. Your words should not echo your reality. They should echo your destiny. Speak from where you are going, not where you are standing. Speak from vision, not from valley. Speak from promise, not from pain. Every breakthrough in history started with a declaration. Freedom was spoken before it was walked in. Healing was announced before it was experienced. Victory was declared before it was won. Wishful thinking has no power if it is not reinforced by bold speaking. Because faith is not passive, it is verbal, it demands voice. Your mouth is not a mirror, it is an engine. It doesn't just describe your identity, it propels it. This is why your daily words matter even more than your occasional prayers. You cannot pray for purpose but speak failure all day. You cannot declare prosperity on Sunday and speak lack every time a bill arrives on Monday. Your words must be disciplined to serve your assignment. They must be intentional, consistent, and aligned. Every time you speak, you are writing your future. Every sentence is ink on the pages of your destiny. And make no mistake, careless words are costly. When you speak without intention, it is like writing a book without direction. You may fill pages, but you build confusion instead of clarity. Your future does not respond to emotion. It responds to language. You cannot speak defeat and expect to walk in victory. You cannot confess weakness and expect to live in strength. You cannot narrate failure and expect to step into success. The future is voice activated, and your words hold the key. So if you want a new atmosphere, speak it. If you want transformation, declare it. If you want a destiny that looks different than your history, shape it with your mouth. Because the truth is this, you are not just living in circumstances. You are living in the structure that your own words have built. You must speak who you are long before anyone else recognizes it. Identity is not discovered by accident. It is revealed through intentional declaration. Think of every great leader, visionary, or world changer. Long before your circumstances match it, long before your environment affirms it, they were misunderstood, rejected, even mocked because they declared an identity that their surroundings could not yet comprehend. Joseph dreamed of ruling nations while still a prisoner in chains. Moses was called a deliverer while he still stuttered in insecurity. David declared victory while Goliath still towered over him. Purpose doesn't wait for public agreement. Purpose responds to personal conviction. You don't need the world to confirm who you are before you speak it. You need to be convinced enough to say it when no one claps, when no one believes, when nothing around you looks like your words. This is why silence is dangerous in seasons of uncertainty. If you do not declare your true identity, the world will assign one to you, but the names others give you are temporary. And usually it will be based on your past, your pain, or your weaknesses, from divine design, not from human opinion. Your identity must come from revelation, not reaction. The name you give yourself is eternal. With divine DNA, you were created with intention, with purpose coded into your being. When you say, I am a leader, even when no one follows, you are planting a truth that time will water. And your words are the ignition switch that brings that identity into motion. When you say, I am chosen, even when life feels like rejection, you are rehearsing heaven's report over your life. When you say, I am valuable, even when people overlook you, you are aligning with your original design. It is shaped by what you consistently declare, especially when no one sees what you see. Identity is not shaped by what happens around you. There will always be a gap between who you are becoming and what the world can recognize. You must speak until your future catches up to your words. That gap must be filled with your voice. Repetition is not redundancy. Repetition is reinforcement. Every time you speak truth, you are pressing it deeper into your spirit. You are carving it into your consciousness. You are building a new internal framework strong enough to carry the weight of your destiny. Revelation rarely strikes like lightning. It rises like the sun, gradually, steadily, through consistent exposure. The first time you declare, "I am strong," your mind may resist it. The second time, your emotions may reject it. But by the third, the fourth, the 10th time, you begin to believe it. The soil of your soul becomes ready. The roots of truth grow deeper, and what once felt foreign becomes your new normal. Repetition dismantles lies. It breaks down years of negative programming. It erases the old narrative of failure and builds a foundation of clarity and confidence. That's why you cannot stop speaking truth simply because it feels awkward at first. The more you repeat it, the more your inner world aligns with it. The more you declare it, the more your actions and habits begin to follow. Repetition is not for convincing others, it is for converting you. When you declare, "I am called, I am whole, I am enough, I am chosen," you're not trying to impress people. You're instructing your inner world. You are teaching your heart to trust what your spirit already knows. You are disciplining your thoughts to follow your faith instead of your fear. The truth is, even the strongest seed cannot grow without watering. And repetition is how you water the promises of God in your life. Every declaration is a drop of water. Every affirmation is sunlight to your seed. Every repetition is warmth, keeping the soil fertile until the harvest comes. This is why you must keep speaking, even when it feels stale, even when the change is slow, even when your circumstances don't yet agree. Because every repetition weakens the lie. Every repetition strengthens the truth. And once the truth is rooted in you, nothing outside of you can shake it loose. Your destiny is too sacred to be sabotaged by careless speech. If your future is holy, then your language must be holy too. Every word you release is either aligning you with your promise or anchoring you to your past. So discipline your mouth like a soldier disciplines his weapon. Treat your language as sacred. Guard it, sharpen it, aim it. Because your words are not random, they are instruments of war. And the war for your destiny is won in repetition. Say it again. Say it louder. Say it until your environment changes. Say it until your habits shift. Say it until your reality bends to match your revelation. Because what you repeat becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes what you embody. So repeat it until the truth is louder than the lies. Repeat it until your vision is stronger than your feelings. Repeat it until the leader inside you rises and takes command. Say these words until they stop sounding like motivation and start sounding like truth. Say them until your heart believes what your mouth is declaring. Remember, repetition is not about sounding positive. It's about reprogramming your inner world to align with your eternal design. When you declare, "I am favored," your environment must begin to respond to that authority. When you declare, "I am a leader," opportunities for leadership begin to appear. When you declare, "I am strong," your spirit finds courage your body didn't know it had. Because words are not noise, words are instructions. They tell your mind what to believe, your heart what to feel, and your future what to build. And let me warn you, the enemy will always try to hijack your language. He doesn't have to steal your potential. He only has to convince you to curse it with your own mouth. That's why you must replace the language of limitation with the language of leadership. Never say, "I'm stuck." Instead say, "I am in transition." Never say, "I'm broke." Instead say, "I am learning prosperity." Never say, "I'm weak." Instead say, "I am being made strong." Your mouth is either a prison or a passport. A prison if you let it echo fear. A passport if you let it declare faith. So choose carefully. Discipline your language until it matches your destiny. And repeat these power phrases until they are no longer declarations, they are descriptions of who you have become. Say them in the morning. Say them in the evening. Say them in moments of doubt. Say them when you feel powerful, and especially when you don't. Because the voice you believe the most is not your mentors, not your critics, not your leaders. It is your own. So let your own voice become your greatest ally. Let your words become your weapons, and let your declarations build the reality you were created to walk in. Let me tell you a truth many people ignore. Success is not built in one day. It is built in daily consistency. Failure is not created in one day either. It is the result of small habits repeated quietly, consistently, until they destroy you. That is why the difference between leaders and followers is not talent. It is consistency. Think about this. A seed doesn't become a tree because of one day of sunlight. It becomes a tree because every single day the sun rises, the rain falls, and the soil stays faithful. Your destiny works the same way. One declaration won't change your life. One burst of motivation won't rewrite your future. But 1,000 declarations, 1,000 small steps of faith, 1,000 acts of discipline, they will. Here is the trap most people fall into. They get excited for 3 days, then quit on day 4. They speak faith for 1 week, but when nothing looks different, they stop. And let me tell you something. The moment you want to quit is usually the moment your breakthrough is closest. Consistency is not glamorous. Consistency is not exciting. Consistency is not loud. But consistency is powerful. It is the bridge between vision and reality. Now listen carefully. When you feel tired, don't focus on how far you have left to go. Focus on how far you've already come. When you feel like your words aren't working, remind yourself, even when you don't see the roots, the seed is growing underground. Consistency is the proof that you trust the process. It is your way of saying, I believe so much in my future that I will keep speaking it, even when my present doesn't match it. Every leader will face storms. Every dreamer will face resistance. Every vision will meet obstacles. That is not a sign that you are failing. It is proof that you are on the right track. Because destiny is always tested by crisis. Think about it. The Red Sea did not part until Israel had their backs against it. The walls of Jericho did not fall until the people walked in circles day after day with nothing changing. David did not become king until he faced a giant twice his size. Crisis is not the enemy of leadership. Crisis is the stage where leadership is revealed. Now here is the danger. Most people interpret crisis as a signal to quit. Leaders interpret crisis as a signal to rise. Followers see a problem and panic. Leaders see the same problem and ask, how can this work for us? Do you know why lions are respected in the jungle? Not because they are the biggest, not because they are the strongest, but because of their attitude. When the lion sees an elephant, it doesn't think that's too big. It thinks that's lunch. The problem didn't shrink. The leader's perspective grew. Here is a principle I want you to remember forever. Crisis does not destroy leaders. Crisis defines them. Write this down. Crisis tests your faith. Crisis refines your vision. Crisis develops your courage. Crisis exposes your foundation. When life shakes you, what is inside you comes out. If you are filled with fear, fear will spill. If you are filled with faith, faith will spill. That is why preparation is not optional. You don't wait for crisis to build leadership. You build leadership so when crisis arrives, you are unshakable. Let me tell you a secret. The greatest opportunities in history have always been hidden inside crisis. Joseph's leadership was born in famine. Daniel's influence was proven in exile. Paul's letters, the very scriptures we read today, were written in prison. Crisis is the canvas on which God paints leadership. Now listen carefully. When crisis comes, don't waste your energy asking, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Ask, how can this pressure position me for my purpose? Because pressure is not punishment. Pressure is preparation. Diamonds are created under pressure. So are leaders. Practical steps to transform crisis into opportunity. Pause, don't panic. Panic blinds you. Pause opens your vision. Ask better questions. Not why is this happening, but how can this serve my purpose? Lead with calm. People don't follow noise, they follow stability. Take bold action. Even if you feel fear, act as though victory is certain. Anchor in faith. Remind yourself that storms don't last forever, but leaders last through storms. Here's the truth. If you can learn to think like a lion in the jungle, you will never see crisis the same way again. Because to a lion, crisis is not a dead end. It is a chance to prove leadership, courage, and destiny. So don't run from your challenges. Face them. Don't curse your crisis. Use it. Because crisis is not the end. Crisis is the birthplace of leaders. Leaders, world changers, visionaries, listen carefully. Everything we've spoken until now comes down to this. Your future is waiting for your voice. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today, the greatest lie you will ever hear is this: you are not ready. But let me remind you, Noah built the ark before the rain. Moses lifted his staff before the sea split. Jesus declared victory before the cross was even empty. You don't wait for evidence to lead. You lead by speaking before the evidence appears. Your leadership is not measured by titles, not by followers, not by applause. Your leadership is measured by your language. Because if your words can shift you, they can shift nations. If your words can ignite you, they can ignite movements. Every revolution began with a declaration. Every breakthrough started with a sentence. So here is your challenge. Stop speaking as a victim. Stop rehearsing limitations. Stop echoing what life has thrown at you. Instead, speak as a leader. Declare as a king. Command as a creator. Say it until your voice shakes. Say it until your mind believes. Say it until your environment bends to match your declaration. The world doesn't need more echoes. It needs more voices. It needs your voice. When you speak, you are not just filling the air with sound. You are filling the future with substance. And let me tell you something powerful. The day you truly believe your own words is the day nothing will ever be able to stop you. So from this moment forward, make this your vow. I will not speak fear. I will not confess lack. I will not declare weakness. I will speak destiny. I will speak greatness. I will speak leadership until I become leadership. This is not just motivation. This is activation. The universe is voice activated. Your assignment is voice activated. Your destiny is voice activated. And the key has always been in your mouth. So go ahead, sack like the leader you were born to be. Declare like the king you were designed to be. Lead like the world is waiting, because it is. This is your time. This is your voice. This is your future. Now open your mouth and create.